Hello students, let's start chapter number 8, North India, 1st century BC to 3rd century AD. In this chapter you will study about invasion from the northwest, Indo-Greeks, Shakas, Parthians and Kushanas, Kanishka and his rule, effect of contact between Central Asia and North India, art and architecture, science and technology, language and literature, the post-Mauryan period. Invasion from the northwest. After the decline of Mauryan Empire, power came into the hands of the Shungas in northern India. Many invasions took place in northern India. In North India, after the fall of the Shungas, these invaders were Indo-Greeks, Shakas and Parthians. Kalinga and Andhra Pradesh became independent. Kushanas, the invaders, made India their home and settled here. Later, they became a part of Indian society. The Indo-Greeks. Milind was the most famous king among the Indo-Greeks. He established his rule over Punjab and Kashmir and adopted Buddhism. He ruled from the province of Gandhar. His coins have been found in many parts of North India. He was influenced by Nagasena, a Buddhist monk, and the discussion between him and Nagasena was compiled in a book called Milind Panho. Another famous Indo-Greek ruler was Heliodorus. He adopted Vaishnavism, Grand Dhwaj pillar at Besnagar. The Gandhara school of art developed during their rule. The contribution of the Indo-Greeks is manifold in the fields of Natya Shastra, coinage, sculptures, philosophy and trade. This is the image of Gandhara school of art. The Shakas. Shakas originally belonged to Central Asia. They defeated the Bactrians, Greeks and entered India. The Shakas were divided into 5 areas: Afghanistan, Punjab, Mathura, Deccan and parts of Western India. The provinces were looked after by Shaka king called Satrapas. One of the most famous Shaka ruler was Rudradaman, 130 AD to 150 AD. The edict engraved on Girnar mountain in Junagadh, Gujarat provides information about the period of Rudradaman. It shows that there was a peace and prosperity in his kingdom. Rudradaman had a council of ministers to advise him, issued silver coins on which his figure was engraved. He was always ready to help his people. He repaired the Sudarshan Lake in Kathiawad, Gujarat in order to provide good irrigational facilities. He was a great lover of Sanskrit. The rule of Shaka dynasty came to an end after 200 years in the 4th century AD. The Shaka rule was followed by the rule of Parthians and then by the rule of Kushanas. The Parthians. The Parthians belonged to the Central Asia and occupied a large portion of northwest India by defeating Shakas. The most famous Parthian ruler was Gandharvarnes. His capital was at Takshila. The Kushanas, 78 AD to 123 AD. According to Chinese historians and travelers, the Kushanas belonged to the province of Canes of western China. They were known as Yuchi. They were defeated by the Huns, so they moved out towards India and settled in Afghanistan. After defeating the Shakas, they extended their territories to Sindh, Punjab and greater part of the Gangetic basin. Kanishka and his rule. Kanishk, 78 AD to 101 AD, was the most able and powerful Kushana ruler. He supported Buddhism wholeheartedly. Many Buddhist monasteries were built during his period. He was the follower of Mahayana branch of Buddhism. In Mahayana, Buddha's image was worshipped. Kanishk was a great lover of learning. He propagated Sanskrit language and literature, art and architecture, sculptures, science, etc. This is the image showing Kushana Empire in 100 AD during the Kanishka's reign. Mathura, Sarnath, Amravati and Gandhar were the main centers of development of art, architecture and sculpture. He himself was a great scholar. During the reign of Kanishka, Ashwaghosha wrote an epic, Buddha Charita, in Sanskrit. Kanishka is also known for his fine coins. He started the Shaka era in AD 78. This era is now used by the Indian government as the national era. This is the image of a headless statue of Kanishka holding a sword. Do you know? Buddhism was divided into 2 sects in the 4th Buddhist Council held in Kashmir. First, Mahayana, Second, Hinayana. The followers of Mahayana believed that Buddha was the incarnation of God and his images are worshipped. The followers of Hinayana regarded Buddha only as a guide and a teacher and not as a god. Effect of contact between Central Asia and North India. The contact with the Greeks, Shakas, Parthians, and Kushanas had a great impact on Indian society. The Kushanas introduced the use of stitched clothes like long coat and long boots, trousers and tunics, and use of helmets. They accepted the Indian religion and became an integral part of Indian society. These images are showing the coins of Kanishk. Kushanas were the first ruler to issue round-shaped coins with images on both the sides. Kushanas were accepted as Kshatriyas and they worshipped Lord Shiva and Vishnu. Coins of Kushana dynasty. Although Kanishk was a follower of Lord Buddha, his coins bore the images of Lord Shiva. The script used on coins was called Kharoshti script. Most of the coins were melted in gold, art and architecture. The contact with Greeks, Sakas, Parthians and Kushanas made great impact on art and architecture of India. The Gandhara school of art and Mathura school of art developed during this period. The art of sculpture was also deeply influenced by such contacts. Their subject was Indian, but their style was Greek. Images of Buddha. Images of Buddha were made in red sandstone, which were mostly Indian in appearance and spirit. Kanishka built many stupas and viharas. He built a monastery at Peshawar. The Greeks contributed to the development of Indian theatre by introducing the use of Yavanika curtain on the stage. Mathura school of art flourished at Mathura. This is the image of Mathura school of art sculpture, and this is the image of Buddha Gandhar school of art sculpture. Science and technology. Indians had the knowledge of astronomy and astrology. The term horoscope has been derived from the Greek term harasastra. The manufacturing of leather shoes started during this period. Red pottery and use of burnt bricks also became popular at that time. Glasswork was influenced by these contacts. Coins were made up of gold using Roman style. Language and literature. There was give and take between Indian languages, Greek and other languages during this period. We have adopted many words from these foreign languages. The noted great scholar Patanjali earned great fame for the evolution of words, language and grammar. He also wrote Mahabhasya during this period, which is a great study on the evolution of words and grammar. The postmodern period. The postmodern period is counted special in many respects as given here. Trade. New kingdoms in North India emphasized on the development of their regions and people by earning more profit of trade. The Cholas, Cheras, Pandyas, Satavahanas, Greeks and Kushanas promoted trade and commerce to promote their economy. They also took care of foreign trade which brought them large sum of money. The ports of Puhar, Sonara, Kalyan and Boroch were the main centers of export and import of goods, silver, goods from other countries. A large number of gold, silver and copper coins were in use. This shows the prosperity of all the 6 kingdoms of North India in the postmodern period. Gold and spices of the south were much in demand in the foreign countries. Pepper was much valued and known as black gold. Pepper was much in demand in Rome and other European countries. With Arab nations, trade was conducted by land. Arab traders moved in caravans. This is the image of Portuguese ship carrying spices from India. Traders from both sides searched for the new sea and land routes for trading. Arab traders, this is the image of Arab traders in caravan in their route to India in 8th century AD. Silk and Silk Route. Silk started to be used as shining cloth of rich people in China some 2000 years ago. Its technique was known to the Chinese only. They kept this technique as a secret. Silk was much in demand. People from all over the world liked silk clothes, put this fabric in high demand. People who visited distant lands carried woven silk with themselves. They searched for a new short route to different countries known by the Silk Route. The Chinese traders always brought precious silk for the kings and queens and the other rich people. The route to India was even more dangerous. People living by the side of the way who demands side of the trader's route always demanded money. Besides, there was a number of people on both sides of the way who demanded money for allowing the traders using the Silk Route. After some time, the Silk Route became a connecting route to the eastern and western worlds, and China and the other countries were connected to the countries of Mediterranean region and Rome. This is an image of a Silk Route. Kushan rulers collected a great amount of taxes from the traders who used Silk routes and penned through Indian territory. The cities of Mathura, Peshawar, and Takshila became important centers as these Indian cities of that time were located by the side of this route. Religion. Only two religions, Hinduism and Buddhism, were being practiced and followed during this period. Buddhism. At the time of Kushanas, Buddhism was divided into two sects, Hinayana and Mahayana. Hinayana was the earlier form of Buddhism. Mahayana developed as a new form of Buddhism, which had many rituals. In Hinayana Buddhism, Buddha's presence was shown in the sculpture. For example, enlightenment of Lord Buddha was shown by a sculpture of the people. Under Mahayana Buddhism, the statues of Buddha were mostly made in Mathura and Takshila. This is the image of a Mathura sculpture of a Bodhisattva. Expansion of Buddhism. Kanishka patronized Buddhism. He organized a Buddhist council where scholars met and discussed important matters. A famous poet of his court, Ashvaghosha, composed a biography of Buddha named the Buddha Charit. Buddhism spread all over India. Dozens of caves were hollowed out for monks to live in. These caves were made by kings, queens, merchants, and farmers. Buddhism also spread to Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Thailand, Indonesia, and other parts of Southeast Asia. Pilgrims. Pilgrims are the men and women who undertake journeys to holy places in order to worship. They often traveled with traders. The best known among the pilgrims who visited India were the Chinese Buddhist pilgrims. They include Faxian 1600 years ago, Xuanzang 1400 years ago, and I Ching about 1350 years ago. These are the images of Faxian and Xuanzang. Hinduism. The South Indian rulers patronized Hinduism during 200 BC to 300 AD. Most rulers of the Satvana dynasty were the followers of the Hinduism. Main Hindu gods and goddesses were Lord Vishnu and Goddess Durga. People devoted themselves to their particular god or goddesses known as Bhakti Marg. Bhakti means a person's devotion to his/her respective god or goddess. The word is derived from a Sanskrit word bhag, that means to share. In bhakti, a person shares his/her feeling with his/her respective god or goddess only and not with other person. In Gita, Lord Krishna asked Arjuna to forget about the dharma and be completely devoted to him, Krishna, as he is the only one who can set anyone free from every evil. This is the image of Lord Krishna preaching Arjuna in Kurukshetra. Now let's sum up the chapter which we have read above. Number 1. Milind was the most famous king among the Indo-Greeks. He was influenced by Nagasena, a Buddhist monk, and the discussion between him and Nagasena was compiled in a book called Milind Panho. Most famous Saka ruler was Rudradaman 130 AD to 150 AD. The edict engraved on Girnar mountain in Junagadh, Gujarat provides information about the period of Rudradaman. He was a great lover of Sanskrit. The most famous Parthian ruler was Gandopharnes. His capital was at Takshila. Kushanas belonged to the province of the Kans of western China. They were known as Yuchi. Kanishka 78 AD to 101 AD was the most able and powerful Kushan ruler. Kanishk was the follower of Mahayana branch of Buddhism. During the reign of Kanishk, Ashvaghosha wrote an epic Buddha Charita in Sanskrit. He started the Saka era in AD 78. This era is now used by the Indian government as the national era. In the Fourth Buddhist Council held in Kashmir, Buddhism was divided into two sects, Mahayana, Hinayana. The script used on the coins was called Kharoshthi script. The Gandhara School of Art and Mathura School of Art developed during this period. Thank you, students. Let's meet in the next class.